I got my eyes on you. You're everything that I see. I want your high love and emotion endlessly. I can't get over you. You left your mark on me. I want your high love and emotion endlessly. 'Cause you're a good girl and you know it. You act so different around me. 'Cause you're a good girl and you know it. I know exactly who you could be. So just hold on, we're going home. Just hold on, we're going home. It's hard to do these things alone. So just hold on, we're going home. I got my eyes on you. You're everything that I see. I want your high love and emotion endlessly. I can't get over you. You left your mark on me. I want your high love and emotion endlessly. 'Cause you're a good girl and you know it. You act so different around me. 'Cause you're a good girl and you know it. You know exactly who you could be. So just hold on, we're going home. Just hold on, we're going home. It's hard to do these things alone. So just hold on, we're going home. You're the girl, you're the one. Gave you everything I love. I think there's something, oh baby, I think there's something. I got my eyes on you. You're everything that I see. I want your high love and emotion endlessly. I can't get over you. You left your mark on me. You want your high love and emotion endlessly. 'Cause you're a good girl and you know it. You act so different around me. Oh, 'cause you're a good girl and you know it. You know exactly who you could be. Just hold on, we're going home. So just hold on, we're going home. Oh, it's hard to do these things alone. So just hold on, we're going home. Oh.
Yay! Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Facebook Live world. We are live tonight for Thursday Night Live at the Big Reveal with Twice on Sundays, Amanda McNeil and Jason Reinhardt. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it.
Well, two people who are living my dream of, let's grow up to be a rock star. That was what I was supposed to do, and it just didn't work out. So, you have all my kudos to a really fun career.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks. But you sing, right?
Well, at this point, it's just, the shower. But other than that, I did start out that way. But yeah, I went over to other pathways. But, well, I had an opportunity to have coffee with Amanda and just kind of share a little bit about ourselves. And that was great. And then I may surprise Jason with a couple of questions tonight because we have not had a chance to do that. But
it's okay. I love surprises.
Okay, good.
I also love coffee. I'm kind of jealous about that. But
oh, well, sorry. The next time I'm in town,
someone get the coffee.
Next time.
Exactly. So tell us just a little bit about kind of the origins of yourself coming into, and we'll start with Amanda, kind of coming into the music industry and how you started and all of that.
Sure. So coming out of high school, I was taking some college courses. I was doing kind of the choir theater thing coming out of high school. And I went to KCK Community College for a little bit, doing some music with their chamber choir and that sort of thing. And I had a part-time job. And at that part-time job, a friend of mine figured out that I like to sing, because I kind of just do that randomly. So he said, I have a friend who has a karaoke business. Maybe you ought to look at getting a part-time job doing something like that. You get to sing, you get to hang out, meet new people. So for a kid coming out of high school and wanting to check out the nightlife anyway, that sounded like a good opportunity. So I did that. I did that for many, many years. Actually, I worked for the same company for 10 years, DJing for them, sometimes 6 nights a week. Sometimes I'd get burned out and do 2 nights a week. But and we did weddings sometimes on the weekends. So that's kind of how I ended up being in front of people, being okay with being in front of people, because prior to that, it really wasn't my thing. And then that I started to I wanted to kind of get out on my own and have my own business. I started to acquire some of my own DJ gear, kind of figured out I understood the business side of it by that point. And I wanted to do a really great job. I wanted to do a better job than what we were doing at the place I was with. And so after much coaxing, Jason and my husband both said, enough of this, go to work for yourself. You've got the gear, let's get started. And I think it was actually that day I had received like a bid request or something for a karaoke show. And I was too afraid to do it. It would have been my first karaoke show, not working for this company any longer. And I'm super loyal to a fault. And so I was too scared to leave. And then Jason and Matt in my living room said, nope, we're going to go up to this place. It was Johnny's Tavern at 95th, and we're going to get that gig. And we did. We went up there, had some dinner, talked to the manager. The manager loved me, and that got started. So for 2 years, that was my karaoke show, and I got a handful of others going, and I did this myself for a while. Then during that time, I was working for a rock band on the weekends. We were playing rock covers. I had put an ad on Craigslist, and they found me, and I auditioned for that band and got the part. So I did that for about 3 years, until, being in a rock cover band and playing in the bars didn't quite pay enough to be away from my husband every weekend. It was kind of taxing on a marriage, taxing on the pocketbook. By the time you pay a bar tab, you've spent all your money that you made that night. So I left there, and I met a awesome group called Lost Wax, run by Chris Davis. A friend of mine named Lindsay Liu is in that band, and she asked me to fill in for her. So she's kind of the link in that chain, getting me into Lost Wax. So I filled in there, and then Chris, who drums for Lost Wax, owns the company, said, hey, I think maybe you ought to have your own band. And so we kind of took the Lost Wax formula, mashups, medleys, and ran with it, doing weddings every Saturday, sometimes Fridays now, corporate events, and got all my friends to work with me. Jason's my best friend of 10 years. He used to work for the same karaoke company.
That's a story. Been like this.
It hasn't always been quite like this. He used to work for that same company too, running gear, and that's how we met. And we had a duo.
We did.
This started as a duo.
It was called Twice on Sunday.
We called it Twice on Sunday.
If you dig really hard,
you're returning to your roots right here on the Thursday Night Live, right?
So if you dig on the internet really hard, you can probably find, much to Amanda's dismay, you can probably find some old videos of us doing our duo acoustically, especially if you follow my mom. She likes to throw them up online all the time. Hi, Mom, if you're out there.
She's got to be out there.
She's got to be out there.
Yeah. So Jason and I had a duo, and I said, let's just take this duo, take this formula that Lost Wax has offered us, and jump up on this platform. And then we hired a couple of another friend, someone who came from my old band, and a friend of ours.
Oh yeah.
Also from the karaoke
Just
world
a bunch
of all
friends.
things.
We made so many good memories.
Yeah. So and here we are. Now you have Twice on Sunday. 3.5 years or 3 years later. So
that's great. That's great. So tell me, I know the world of music and events specifically every weekend can kind of get kind of taxing. Speak to that. I know you mentioned that obviously the after a while, but talk to me about like what keeps you inspired during that, and what are some of the struggles that you've kind of figured your way out of with that?
So yeah, the event business is kind of taxing. Every Saturday, sometimes we're working out of town. Last weekend we're in South Dakota. This Saturday we're in St. Louis doing a wedding. So that means, getting up at 7 a.m. on a Saturday. You're leaving the office at 9:30, something like that, 9:30.
Musicians love that.
Yeah, we love getting up early.
It's our favorite. If you hire us for an event, make sure it's like at 6 a.m. We'll be bright-eyed and chipper. This is my sarcastic face.
Uh-huh.
So we pile in the car and go out 4 or 5 hours, however far we're traveling. And a lot of times we play in Kansas City. But either way, Saturdays are long days. You're loading in at noon, 1, and you get done at 1 a.m., by the time you pack everything out. One of the things that keeps us going, I think, is our friendship. All of us are really typically pretty happy to see each other. We like to catch up with each other. We like to make jokes and pick on each other as much as possible. So that makes things a lot better on Saturdays, when you just don't want to make a party or not in the mood to make a party.
I don't know about you. I always like making parties. One of my favorite things is I like the transition between going into a room full of people that you do not typically know, and like you're just strangers, right? And then you create this whole experience where you're like making all this energy happen together. And like I could do that night after night, week after week, and it doesn't feel depleting to me. It feels like I get energy from that. I like it a lot. That's
great.
It is. The best part is putting the earbuds in and just going with the music. You can escape at that point. You can just kind of like even if you had a really rough week, you can put all that away if people are out there dancing and high-fiving you and having fun with you. That is probably the highlight of my week, when I get to finally put those, after the load in is done and everything is set, and I'm done talking to the venue coordinator, and we've gotten through the ceremony and all the things like making sure the grand entrance goes really well and the first dance and all that. Then we get to put the earbuds in and
make a party.
Yeah, kind of lose yourself in it. Yes. I have one, I'm just going to share this side note. I have one tattoo on my body. It says, "Music washes away from the soul the dust of everyday life."
Nice.
And that is my heart as a DJ. I was a DJ for 20 years. So that I totally know what you mean by that. So
I love that.
Tell me a little bit about, you and I had talked earlier about kind of some things that inspire you, and you had spoken about the musicians in your life and kind of what you get to do with them outside of, just weddings and events. Speak to that a little bit. And then obviously, Jason, what is it that you feel inspires you musically and otherwise? Because you have a whole different side of your life that we haven't even started with yet.
So we talked earlier, I get to hang out with some of the most talented people in Kansas City. We don't get to hang out all the time, but I feel like I have a backstage pass all the time to see anytime I want to see. Like we've got people in our band like Mark Lowry and John Goolsby's in Lost Wax, but we're sister bands. But you get to go and be a part of that, and who these people are, and it makes you want to grow as a musician when you see people who are so talented at all different kinds of things. Whether they play jazz or they write, they're singer-songwriters. There's so much music around us all the time. And so always the ambition to grow. Currently we don't write songs, but maybe that's something, we should look at,
right.
Try to fulfill that part of our souls. Right. And there's all these great people around us. And my husband's been a pretty good inspiration for me. He left his day job one day, just kind of out of the blue, a place he'd worked for 16 years, the only job he ever had, to do photography. So, and he has gone for it with everything he's got in him. He spends pretty much all of his personal time, if we're not on a date and he's not taking pictures, he's trying to figure out what's the best way to light the photos and he's always down the rabbit hole of photography. And I don't know anybody, and there's nobody near me that works quite that hard or is quite that obsessed with their work as he is. So I'm reminded that I have to stay at the drawing board,
You should see how many lights he set up in this
room, right?
Just to make us look this wonderful. Not that we don't.
Well,
anyway.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
shout out to Matt McNeil.
So Jason, kind of speak to that on your end. Talk to me about what inspires you, and do you have any mentors in your life that really just kind of gave you some golden nugget that really kind of molded who you are?
No, not really. I think most of what I am right now is just a product of me indulging in my own distraction. So, I don't know too many people who do it like me. A lot of people would say that I lack direction and focus, but I love all the different avenues that's taken me, and I tend to go really far in each direction. So I have all these wildly varying skill sets that while some people might say, hey, even Amanda might say, hey, you should focus more on playing the guitar or doing all these other things. I think that the sum of all the parts is really a wonderful thing.
Yeah. And tell us some of what those are.
Some of the okay, so I'll just go through my week a little bit so I can try to recall what's all going on. Let's see. So this week I launched a personal training class called Gymnastics Inspired Fitness, which I pretty much made up, and now they want to pay me for. And so that's cool. That's at Body Fit. And then I'll talk about that more later. And then I just got to get through this whole list before I get distracted. You'll see me get distracted during this interview. I'll be like, oh, but you might have to rein me back in. But I practice yoga. I dabble in advertising for all the various endeavors that I do, and Twice on Sunday does. Mm-hmm. I do the I work at the studio as a recording engineer. I teach students at this is also a trade school, and I teach students here how to do audio. Also, I run a production company that provides audio for different people. My sister's saying hi, so I got to wave.
Hi, Andrea.
Is that it? I take drum lessons. I take guitar lessons. I take voice lessons.
Weren't you taking hip hop?
I take hip hop dance lessons now, but don't come watch me.
Not yet, right?
Yeah, that's probably one of the most humbling of the things that I do. It's
Jason is like a crusader.
What am I doing here? So yeah, basically, the more uncomfortable it makes me, the more I'm like, I gotta get this handled. We gotta go for it. But that's
and that's such a great attribute. Like one of the things that Amanda shared with me was that you used to be really shy, and when I asked you about it, you had a great response. Tell our audience kind of what that looked like in your life and how that played out.
Shy, be really afraid to interact with people. there's just a point in my life where I realized that this was an inhibiting factor to my happiness. And I decided that I was smart enough to figure out how to overcome that. And so from I started saying yes to pretty much every opportunity that would make me scared and terrified. Starting kind of small, I became a server for a little bit, and that was scary. Like even just walking up to my first table and like talking to these strangers was like a deeply terrifying experience at the time. And shortly after that, I got myself like accidentally in this band with my buddy Sean McNown, who shout out to Sean. He got me into music. I started playing bass there just because he didn't have a bass player or know any of them, and I was like in a store and I was like, I'll buy a bass. And then I was the bass player. And that was oh my goodness. I was terrified every single time for a long time. And then after that, I became a DJ for the company where I met Amanda. And that was really probably the turning point. And then after that, we made Twice on Sunday, and it's just been going more and more. Now I'm now I'm in front of people when I teach this class, and a lot of my time is spent in front of people. And I really like once you break past that self-stifling feeling that keeps you from expressing yourself and being the truest version of yourself because of like feeling the pressure from other people, the perceived pressure, not saying that or anything, but like once you break through that, then you really can be the truest, most alive version of yourself. And so that's a wonderful path for self-development. I'd be honored to talk to anyone about at any time.
Yeah, I love that.
He's always teaching me stuff.
Awesome. Well, and so Jason, you kind of shared some of your hobbies, and it was interesting, Amanda, because it was really focused versus Jason's very unfocused. Yeah. So speak to that, because we kind of talked about how music is not only your hobby, but it's kind of become your entire lifestyle.
Yeah, you're asking me what I do in my spare time or what I do for fun. I was just saying today to Chris in my office, gosh, I really need to make a new mashup or something, because my creative side of me is like yelling at me. It's time to do something creative, even though I'm currently building a website. It's like, that's not enough for me. Yeah, I mean, I spend a lot of time thinking about this group actually, and where we're going to take it. And it's this thing has really become a huge part of my life. What I think about when I wake up, and some of what I think about when I go to bed. How are we going to be better? What songs are we going to add? What are we going to do this weekend? So it's really kind of become me. And
it's kind of the I call it, is like it what you do when you truly love what you do.
Yeah.
It's no longer work. I mean, there are moments, of course, that feel like work, but it's what you get inspired by. It's what you enjoy doing. It becomes your hobby.
Yeah. When
I asked about that, you had originally said, well, I make mashups and go to concerts and go to other people's. It's like, you can tell everything you do. It's what you truly enjoy. It's not just a job anymore. So that's awesome.
I felt bad when you asked me. I was like, man, maybe I better get a life, because I don't have, I'm not taking dance lessons and doing yoga, although he would love it if I did. He's like, come to yoga.
You should come to yoga.
You should. Every week. Come to yoga. I work a lot. I am a workaholic.
That's why you should come to yoga.
See?
The next hashtag, come to yoga.
Hey, you can come to yoga too if you want.
Okay. I would love that, actually. I'll have to check that out.
All right.
So tell me a couple of the, because you have a couple of regular gigs that you guys are doing right now as a group. Kind of speak to that and tell me where you're at right now and what.
So Jason and Sean McNown still kind of Sunday duo that Jason and I originally kind of started.
That's my buddy who got me into music from the earlier story, like the one I played bass for.
Right.
Like a reoccurring thread throughout this whole thing.
Yeah, he's awesome. Great singer. He plays acoustic guitar. So he and Jason have a little duo that they do one
Wednesday a month at Brewtop.
One Wednesday a month at Brewtop. And we don't have a date set yet so I'll find out. It'll probably be towards the end of June, but it's always on our Facebook. And then as a band, we play at the Levee. We play at Kelly's Westport quite often. Oh, look, he's pulling up the calendar. Look at you go. And we play at both Brewtops, North and South, at least. So about every 6 weeks with all of those gigs, we kind of make the rounds. Trying to see where we are next.
There's so many
I don't even know where we are next. Is that terrible? I know we have a wedding on Saturday. Those are the big things.
I know it's out of town, and everyone's like, "Where is it?" And I'm like, "Well, I know I need to show up at the trailer on Saturday."
I'm not the driver. I just show up.
Yeah. This weekend we have a wedding in St. Louis. So.
Yeah, so I just want to also, for anybody that's joined us on here, please feel free to jump in the comments and say hi to these guys. Thank them for being here, and ask any questions that you might have while we're live and or afterwards if we don't get around to them here. So let's see, anything that you guys want to share outside of what we've talked to, maybe about, do you have future endeavors that you have on your plate that you're like, I've always wanted to do this, and as a group or as individuals that we might be looking forward to in the years to come?
I just want to continue with this path, and I mean, it's just the experience of it is so amazing that I'm really happy just being in it. As far as making things to share with people, like we're doing a lot of demos and things like that at the recording studio. Like, I don't know if you can see where we're at right now, but I like creating things. I like making things, like basically like having an idea and having it be a thing. So it's really not very specific what that is. I just like seeing ideas become tangible realities. Especially when it's with my friends, like. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, expect a lot of videos coming from us. I would say, we want to grow the thing. We want to, eventually have a big production, where we're, bringing in the sound and the lights, this huge setups, and doing big corporate parties and that kind of thing. Maybe a little more traveling even. And have a, 20-piece band or 30-piece band working every Saturday. That would be, and choreography and
I'm just
costumes. I don't know.
That's all I'm doing with the dance. I have to, get remedial about it. Hey, I saw some comments go by, but they happened so quick I didn't get to read them. I know one was from my sister. Did you happen to catch them?
Yeah. So one is, who's your favorite niece?
Oh, my favorite niece is Stella. That's my sister.
Is Stella?
She's also my only niece, but
but the best one.
But the best one for sure.
See, we could actually throw this up on the screen. It's from Mary Warrior. Amanda needs to write some songs with Jason. That's what I want to see in here. So do you guys have plans? Have you been working on, doing
song
originals?
At a time?
Yeah. Like,
what is it called? Do you remember?
Heck no.
One time Amanda came over and we wrote a song.
We did.
Like, way in a band together.
I wonder if I even have any documentation of that event.
That was fun.
Yeah. I mean, it could be a thing again.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe after wedding season, though.
After wedding season.
Yeah. Okay. So the next one,
February on that.
Right. Exactly. So the next one we had was from Vivian Ward. She said, "I love the mashups. What's your latest mashup?"
We just mashed the Bruno song. What is it? That's What I Like by Bruno Mars. That's what I like. That's what I like. With You Got It Bad by Usher. So.
Oh, that'd be fun.
It is fun.
Very cool.
People like that one.
Well, and for those of you that are on, we're going to post a few links to some of their songs in the comments after the show, just because this was kind of a last minute audio setup here. So what they're singing for you today is obviously not quite as good as what they can do when it's a little bit more rehearsed in the studio setting. So you're welcome to check those out when we're done. And I think that's, unless you guys have something else that you specifically want to share, we were going to end with another song.
Yeah, that sounds good. No, we're good. We appreciate you having us.
Yeah. Thanks for being here. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think I still know how to play this thing. This is a guitar, right?
Well, sometimes I go out by myself and I look across the water, and I think of all the things what we're doing. In my head I paint a picture. Since I've come home, well, my body's been a mess, and I miss your ginger hair and the way you. Why don't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, Valerie? Valerie. 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 Did you have to go to jail? Put your house up for sale? Did you get a good lawyer? I hope you didn't catch a tan. Hope you found the right man to fix it for you. Are you shopping anywhere? Change the color of your hair, and are you busy? Did you have to pay that fine? You were dodging all the time, and are you still dizzy? Since I've come home, well, my body's been a mess, and I miss your ginger hair and the way you like to dress. Why don't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, Valerie? Valerie. Valerie. Well, sometimes I go out by myself and I look across the water, and I think of all the things what we're doing. In my head I paint a picture. Since I've come home, well, my body's been a mess, and I miss your ginger hair and the way you like to dress. Oh, won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, Valerie? Yeah. Valerie. 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 Oh, why don't you come on over, Valerie?
That was fabulous. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. I really, really appreciate it.
Oh,
Thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely. Well, to the rest of you out there, if you have any other questions, please feel free to jump in and make some comments afterwards. And these guys are fantastic wedding group, and they will be at our shows in the future, I'm sure. And we'll look forward to seeing all of you guys at the big reveal. Have a good night.
Thank you. Hope to see you around.
Nice.